Is anime political or not? Is hands down one of the most annoying and boring debates that ever hit the anime fandom. So much so that most people will just want to pull a Rainer the moment someone brings the topic up, including me. And despite what many people think, this debate is actually not new at all. It didn't came with the evil lockdown and its new wave fans. I've been active in the anime fandom for over a decade now, and I've seen this debate as early as 2014. Heck, there is probably an old head watching this video right now who's seen this topic way before I was even able to walk. There is a really good reason why many anime communities have a no politics rule. So yeah, this topic been around for quite some time, way before that Demon Slayer episode hit the screen. And people seem to like this topic very much, what is more than evident by the sheer amount of videos on YouTube. What I have to admit I didn't watch much from because I find the topic excruciatingly boring and just annoying. But now you might be wondering, if I don't like this topic, why make a video about it? And my answer for that is money. Christmas is coming and my regular videos aren't cutting it to make enough money so I could afford poppy seed rolls. So let's make a deal. You like this video and in return I get poppy seed roll money. It is a one in a lifetime offer. Anime as a medium, ever since its creation, had political messages and themes in them, what is understandable as anime is made by people for people. Because of that, anime often reflects the beliefs of its creators and its audience. Anime always was heavy on political themes and messages, most notably it always took a stance against oppression and stood up for freedom. In One Piece, for example, the story is filled to the brim with political messages. From fighting for freedom against tyranny, Tyrannosaurus governments and regimes, to showing corruption and how not everything is black and white. To showing how governments will manipulate history to fit their agenda and goals, and how far they are willing to go to keep their power and hide the truth from its people. One Piece is filled with political messages and themes to the brim. That's why its Jolly Roger became a symbol for freedom fighting against corrupt regimes in recent years, used across the world. But One Piece isn't the only anime out there, despite what One Piece fans might think. Even Naruto's entire story is essentially built on the back of hundreds of years of political conflict that ended up spiraling into a cycle of hate, telling us the message that conflict and war just births more conflict and more war. Many animes out there thrive on the same or similar topics and themes. These themes are often the very building stones of many stories, especially in battle shonen. Even animes like Fairy Tail, what is mostly about wizards beating the living hell out of each other, has political themes in it, like a whole racism plotline regarding dragons and humans, then the slavery plotline with Erza, and it also did multiple jabs on cult obsession. So clearly anime has politics in them ever since its birth as a medium. Based on all these, people might think that this clearly makes anime political. But there is just one issue with this. Most of these are politics of a fictional world. Even though all of these can be applied to real life, or we can draw a parallel between them and real life political issues, political stances, or historical events, at the end of the day, they are extremely generalized and non-specific, used for entertainment. Saying fuck corrupt oppressive governments is not the most revolutionary political stance ever. Everyone hates oppression, it comes pre-built at birth with the V. Even people who run corrupt oppressive governments know what they are doing is bad. They just don't care. An anime saying fuck corruption would be political if it would say fuck the Hungarian government or fuck the Serbian government instead of saying fuck Imu. Like, who the fuck is Imu? Of course, these themes being generalized doesn't mean the message behind them is worth less. It is just simply not specific enough for an anime to be called political over it. And most of the time these messages and themes aren't in the story to take a political stance. but rather just for entertainment. When people say anime is not political, they don't think about the political struggles and geopolitics of a made-up world. They don't think about the most generalized political messages, regardless if you can apply the message to real life or not. They think about real-life politics. And I believe this is where a massive disconnect lays between the two sides, between people who claim anime is not political and people who say it is. As one side only considers direct references to real-life politics as political, while for the other side, even the smallest fictional politics is enough to consider an anime as political. And I think the latter is a pretty dishonest way to look at anime as a whole, because by that logic, nearly every single anime out there could be considered political for the smallest bullshit, regardless how big of a stretch you would need to make to come to that conclusion. It is also worth mentioning that anime is a medium, not a genre. It is made up of all these different types of stories, from battle-oriented stories to romantic comedies, drama, and even slice of life. You can't just lump all of them together and call anime as a whole political, as even if political themes are common in one genre, the rest is mostly apolitical unless you consider marry and reproduce meme political. So people's dislike towards this mindset is pretty understandable. Like, I would be pretty pissed as well if someone would say that my schizophrenic, cute romantic comedy is political just because One Piece said fuck the government. Whoever saying that anime is not political is also not fully honest, as even if most animes out there are apolitical or use generalized political themes and messages for simple entertainment, there are still animes and mangas out there who indeed are political or take political stances. Because at the end of the day, anime and manga are made by people for people. And people sure love their politics. One recent example would be Chainsaw Man, especially Part 2, where Yoru the War Devil says she loves America because they reinvented the nuclear bomb after it got erased from existence. Another example would be Baki, in where Yujiro does some pretty nasty things to Trump and Elon Musk. Or Cocoon, what tells the tragic and grim story of young girls drafted to serve during World War II, showing the suffering they went through under Imperial Japan. Even something like Blue Period is political, as it explores gender identity and expression, essentially talking about modern gender politics and issues. And these are only few examples I could remember. There are plenty of anime, manga and light novel out there, both new and old, that are indeed political, with direct references to actual political events, or are talking about real-life struggles and messages, both current and past. Anime is a medium made out of many different genres. So yes, anime is both political and not. You can't lump every single title together from every single genre and say it is political or say it isn't. Each title should be judged individually. Anyway, this is the end of the video about this boring ass topic. Like for Poppy Seed Rolls and Harry's an Among Us character being acted. I don't know how to end this video. Bye.